Fantastic stories there from Sandra back at the Winton Festival of Speed, and keep your eyes peeled to the VHRR social media, because the Winton Festival of Speed, after record crowds of record numbers through the gates in August this year, wait until you see what 2026 brings. The emergence of the Winton Festival of Speed on the historic racing scene has been nothing short of mega over the last 2 years, and with that as an introduction, a guy that works on making that event mega right throughout the last few years has joined me with I'm going to say the category that makes his heartbeat and his passion go right for it. Brett Florence, welcome to the Super Sprint for the Group C and A Tribute Cars. Now, just give those that are watching on at home, because there's not a lot of people that made their way to the track here today, but I implore everyone to do it tomorrow, because it's going to be amazing, great weather tomorrow. It's been amazing how windy and rainy and wet it is here today, but you can still tuck yourself into the grandstand up there and have a great time. So please, we've still got a couple of hours of racing to go. If you're not doing anything and you're local to the track, come and join us as Ian Ross stops on the exit of Turn 4. Brett, just give us an idea, the rundown of the inception of this tribute style of super sprint type driving.
Well, thanks very much, mate, for the invite. But look, this category has slowly grown to the point where it's now very popular for us. But it's just a category, you know, guys that have got a car that they have always loved, and, you know, they've decided, well, I can't have the real thing, so I'm going to build something that's as close as I can.
Having said that, the car we're just looking at is one of the real things.
Exactly. And look, you know, there's a couple of the guys, one that's not out here at the moment is Adrian Elsley in his VR Walkinshaw, and it'll be out tomorrow if it's a bit dry. He's just got a wet weather tyre issue. But, you know, it's open to those guys that come and do this sprint. Now, they're not racing for sheep stations, these guys, even though some guys think they are at times. But essentially, all these cars, other than Ian Ross's at the moment, and the little red M3, they're all a tribute car of something that was famous in the day. You got, you know, Dave Ramsey there in the XA Coupe. Like, that's a cool thing when you look at it. And then you go to Craig Barkler in that VR car, the Pinnacle Motorsport car, you know, and that's something different. You know, most guys would remember the HRT cars or a Gibson car or Perkins. You know, he's done a Pinnacle car, which no one would think of, but it's a cool looking car, and certainly matches it with the performance. One of the really cool things that I like about, and I've seen this year, is Dave Ramsey running the XA Falcon in sports sedans in the State Series. So he's getting this awesome exposure via the big platform that is the Historic Racing Register Festival of Speed here this weekend, and of course in 2026 the what is now the Penrite 100 Classic, the Phillip Island event, getting plenty of track time. And just, you know, they built this car as a tribute car, but hey, it fits into so many other regulations. Talking about tribute cars, and we were just talking about it before coming on air, the Federation Camel Moffat Tribute has got a family member of Ford royalty on board there, Tabitha Ambrose, this weekend. Isn't she enjoying her historic racing in a Holden at Winton and a Ford here? Look, you know, at Winton she ran around in Craig Bowring's ex-Warren Cullen A9X four-door, and now, you know, here she's in Graham Stevenson, and Graham's out there in the John English white and blue XD. But, you know, Graham said, put her in, you know, why not? She's, as you said, royalty, her father's royalty to Ford fans. And what was interesting was the public outcry at Tabitha in a Holden. At least now all the Ford fans are back on board that she's in a Falcon.
So this is a super sprint. This isn't a rolling start. So it is rolling, but we've had the safety car just letting these cars get a bit of a look around and see what the track conditions are all about. I do like the John English car, and in fact, if you want to tune into the Grassroots Racing podcast, which is housed at Speed Cafe or Apple or wherever you get your podcasts at, check out the Grassroots Racing podcast, because John English talks about this car very, very fondly for quite some time in that podcast. But certainly that the Pi audio car, famous with John, at the big race, the big dance at Mount Panorama. So it is very interesting. In fact, there's quite a few of these races here this weekend that have been on the Grassroots Racing podcast. Well worth tuning into as we everyone just very gingerly finding their way around, aren't they?
They sure are, mate. And look, this little Escort, like, how good would it be out there? That's the giant killer today, but you've got this thing. This thing's a weapon. It's well suited. It's well set up. It's fast, and it looks good. Phil Davis has got this car really well set up. He's spent a lot of time and effort getting it right. So, and he's not shy in giving it a crack. Same as Dave. And Dave runs around in Vic V8s as well.
Yep, certainly does. And I reckon this one here is going to be one that we're going to see trickle its way up through the chart. I just actually noticed something on the BMW, Adrian Brady out there. Now, we're used to seeing back in that era I'm just trying to think of the German script. It was the drink you have shots of.
Jägermeister.
Jägermeister.
Yeah.
I just noticed the window sticker on the red BMW, and I'll wait until we see it on screen and just happen to chance to see what it says across the front of the screen. But they've used the script to say something else.
I'll have a look now.
Yeah, I like it. Everyone will be waiting for it to see that red BMW. But let's have a look. The initial lap time, which has come down for car number 53. Is a 140.88. So we'll see how that starts to improve. Obviously a Brock liveried VK.
And this car's part owners, Matt Huff, he's part owners in this car, and they share it from one event to the next. And it's just a great way for two guys to have some fun in a car. I suppose the only problem would come if someone bins it, then the other bloke won't be real happy. But anyway.
Yeah, and I've got to say there's a fair bit more elaborate bar work in the back of this thing compared to what they had in the Group A era, which I'm all for, because the safer these things can be, the better
absolutely.
is in my opinion. But the Les Gort, as you said, being wheeled around, Tabitha just gingerly taking those corners. It is tricky. There's why it's tricky. Have a look at the water hanging in the air. The wind is almost gone. The flags here now are just sort of quite limp on the flag posts. Of course, we're just keeping an eye on that. But this car being driven quick as.
Yeah, and Adam Jones, he's going through the COD process. This car, that little Datsun 240, it raced back in the day, and Adam's trying to get that sorted through the Motorsport Australia process. So it's just one of those cars that he's trying to get up and running, but it's a quick little car, and Adam's thoroughly enjoying coming out and running with these guys.
Certainly is, and just starting to feel a little bit wet underfoot there. What do we got going on with the 93 there? Just moving around, or is he waiting for his mate in the FOMO-co to range up alongside and no, going retiring?
Yeah,
heading up the road there. So and this car in itself is interesting as well. It's a livery that. It's not a Moffat Works livery. It's not anything like that. It's been plucked out of a photo somewhere and gone, you know what, I like that.
Well, that's right. And if you look at I think it's in 74 that Kev Bartlett won the Bathurst 1000. And I mean, I'll be wrong now that I've said that, but with Gossie. But I mean, that ran as blue when it won at Bathurst, but he's chosen the yellow colour scheme, so something different again.
Tabitha Ambrose having a handful here with a BMW M3 all over the rear here. I've got to say, I do appreciate an M3, particularly in this sort of era, the E30 style, and you can see it there, Hangover Motorsport.
Oh, absolutely.
Written all across the top of the screen, and done in, I'm going to say, an old style European font there, whatever that might be. And here comes the other one of the coupes as well. 3 coupes out there today, hey? That's the hardtop XC of Tabitha.
Well, that's right. And if you want to see XA, XB, XC Falcon coupes running, this is the only category that you'll see those cars out there, because there's about 5 of them that have been built, guys that are, popular. There's a fella this weekend in a Gagan XA. That's a brand new build. He's running around in regularity until he sort of gets his feet before he comes out and runs with these guys. So there's some really cool cars out there.
Roger Trezise lining up behind one Tribute Moffat car to another.
Exactly.
And I get it. I get the popularity of Alan Moffat, the hard man of Australian motorsport, right up until he wasn't.
Exactly, and it's good that they're 2 different cars. Like there's really no double ups, if you like, of there's a couple, but in these Moffat ones there's no double ups.
I tell you what is interesting, and it's only just come to my attention, is how much the Moffat Ford dealers didn't use up the whole side of the car. They squeezed it into a little area, whereas you look at the Federation insurance sign, fills the flanks.
Exactly.
It is interesting how those different liveries transpired back in the era. There's the ex-John English Tribute just coming onto the straight in the Pi Audio.
I mean, if you put these two as corporate cars, it'd be like Bathurst 77 over, wouldn't it?
It would be. The your genuine 1-2 finish, eh? Yeah.
Oh, we just got sideways there.
Can you ever see Bathurst doing that again? Like the people forming them up to do that? It's just run too hard to the wire now, isn't it?
Absolutely. And if you go by this year, I mean, how could you have done it?
Yeah, you could.
Same conditions, but that's about it. But, gee, it'd be pretty cool, though.
Yeah, I think we're going to be waiting a while. I think maybe the 888s of this world could try and orchestrate it, but they have to run very, very hard all day long to get themselves in a position where they're out in front. The interesting other thing is between the XA and the XC is the bobtail type.
Yeah, that's
rear wing,
right.
rather than an off the bonnet or off the boot type rear wing as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And this one, nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And I was about to say that. You look at the XA, it's got nothing at all. So, and I mean, it's a shame that the weather's been this way. We've got a couple of cars that aren't out there at the moment. A couple of guys were planning on being here and had a couple of issues. Like there was Paddy Kirby, who normally runs. He's one of our regulars, and with his V in Group A, and unfortunately he couldn't make it. And then there's Nico Higgins, who's hurt his knee, and he can't be here at the moment. So,
g'day, Nick. Hope you're going all right, mate. I don't know what those guys have done and sold that Corolla out from underneath you, but we hope you repair well, mate.
So, there's we've got Phil Jones, he's back out there. He must have got it running again. So, there's some really cool cars that are around. So, we just hope to get more and more out there as the category continues to grow. And, we've most of the guys have kept the cars reasonably close to what they were in the period. No more than, that sort of 6-litre capacity engine-wise. And, kept them at 4-speed if they're 4-speed. Some of them have gone to a 5-speed, but, that's just the ease of parts in today's world compared to trying to, keep them stock.
What would be interesting, in particular in the instance of the VH, is trying to keep a 308 going these days, and instead dropping an LS or something like that in there where you can buy a crate motor out of the States for not a whole lot. You don't have to try and chase around an out of balance 308 and try and make it work for you. But certainly the car looks fantastic, and just watching them circulate around.
And that's part of the problem with cars like this. I mean, getting those period parts right. Even running at Cleveland now these days is expensive to build and keep on track.
I reckon the cool thing is, like Ray Gulson and John English and Geisler and the other co-driver of this car, seeing these cars, they might have only done a couple of touring car rounds in a Bathurst together, and there's someone rebirthing the car that they drove.
That's exactly right. And they're not a Moffat or a Brock or a Johnson. They're just everyday guys that were able to have a bit of fun in a car.
And that can be, and I can say, as we've done nearly 75 of the Grassroots Racing podcast, our first question we ask every guest is, what's your first memory? And about 93% of them, and we've done the number on this, is sitting on the couch with Dad watching Bathurst at Mount Panorama. And they're not talking about the 12-hour or the 6-hour. They're talking about this era in the 1000. And I wonder where we'd be as a sport if it wasn't for sitting on the couch with Dad watching the 1000.
Yeah, I remember it.
Yep.
That's for sure. And most of these guys are choosing a lost livery as well. You know, cars that are not out there racing in Group C or Group A, or cars that are sitting in museums. Most of them are a lost livery, which is even better because it's the car that, you know, you'll never see again.
Phil Jones has gone fastest. Let's have a look at the competition aspect of this, not the teary-eyed emotional stuff that we're getting caught up in here. Ramsey has gone through in the number 51. That is the 72 XA Coupe in the yellow and red, who's getting a lot of racing, as he said, in sports sedans and big V8s. Then it's the 95 going through there of Ian Smith. That's the Brock liveried HDT or Holden VK, and that's a 146.64. The 21 coming through, it's another one of the Commodores 1994. That's the Pinnacle Motorsport white VR that I think it was that we were looking at. So that's got through and just been knocked out of the top 4 by the 87, and that is Matt Huff, also in a VK Commodore. So they're just starting to feel their way around here, and we haven't actually had any rain physically fall out of the sky for the best part of about 30 minutes or so now. So I'm not going to say there's a dry line because they're still pushing spray out the side of the car. Like we're just watching Phil have a red hot crack here. This is pretty cool to watch, actually. He's not holding back right now.
And Phil used to be an Australian go-kart champion prior to this, so he's got some good, you know, skill about him as a driver, which is, you know, why he's so fast.
And that's the end of the session. The checkered flag has been dropped on the field now, so for all intents and purposes, the fastest car on track is that one that just got the checkered flag, and that was Phil Jones, a 134.74. Tabitha Ambrose comes to the line. She's just jumped up one on Rachel's eyes, and she is in position 9 with a 158.27. What a big hulking piece of car when you've just stepped out of a Formula Ford.
Absolutely. She's doing a fantastic job, and, you know, Tabitha's come on board as a VHRR junior this year. So, you know, from our club perspective, you know, it's great to have, you know, young girls, emerging, you know, motorsport drivers to come on board and, you know, and share her knowledge as well, you know, to others. So it's just fantastic. And here's Graham, the owner of that Falcon Coupe.
Car looks a ripper. Gee, the Castrol GTX. How many cars of that era had that on their headlights? It was a popular sticker handed out when you got your free bottle of oil at the local parts joint, wasn't it?
Oh, it certainly was.
As we just get a look at this Datsun as well. Where has Adam Jones ended up? Adam Jones, six. A 151. So that's pretty cool.
You know, and again, the rain is the equaliser.
Isn't it? Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed this one, and they're still with GTX on the headlights there. So a product known very, very well indeed. And the 95 just getting through here. That's Ian. That's Smith getting through there as well. Ian Smith in the VK, and just bumped up to 3rd on that lap number 7. So it looks like everyone got most of their quick laps done on lap number 6. Couple in 7. So everyone basically got 9 laps in that super sprint. And Jones takes out super sprint number 1 for the weekend here at the Sandown Historics for 2025. Brett, thank you so much for your knowledge, your description, and from all of those that enjoy this sort of thing, your commitment to the cause.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate that. And I'll be definitely back tomorrow if you want me. So
certainly, it's something different, and people are really starting to sit up and take notice of it. As we still see Pete Manson bringing the Escort Coupe. In fact, we just lost the timing screen there to see where the Escort will finish up, but he's continuing on around through turn 4. Brett, thank you. We've got still got plenty of racing still to go here today. The MG invited British cars up next with historic touring cars, and then the HQs will round out our competition. The Group C and A tribute cars will be on at 11:45, so you can have a sleep in, mate.
Yeah, no worries. I'll see you then.
Excellent.
Thanks, mate. Bye.
Back soon. Well, I hope you're enjoying yourself here trackside and enjoying the live streaming from Historic Sandown for 2025. We've made our way through half of the morning program. We're at that 11:45 step in today's program. Massive program right throughout the 3 days, and when you look at that, it's just a huge program. Up on track next, Group C and Group A cars. They're actually making their way out on track for their sprint. The MG and invited British cars will be on track after that. Historic touring cars and HQs. And then the much anticipated 125 start of the Ford 100-year commemoration event. And then we do it all again like we've done throughout this morning. I'm Darren Smith, and super to introduce Brett Florence to run us through, which is something just a little bit different, which is, well, as you can see by the cars on track, growing in popularity month on month, almost week on week at the moment, is these Group A and Group C tribute cars. And Brett, you've been working very hard on this for quite some time, mate. It is got to be, you've gone grey and lost a lot of hair since you started doing this. Yeah, and that was only 6 months ago.
Exactly. Yeah, look, this category is growing, as you know, and, we've got a couple of genuine cars out there, which is really good. The white Mike Emery XD there. That's a genuine car from the period, and there's also a Walkinshaw out there that Adrian Elsley's running. That's a genuine car, and there's a little M3 as well that Adrian Brady's got, which is a genuine Schnitzer car from the period. Some cool genuine cars out there with the guys with the tribute cars. So it's coming along really great. And as we said yesterday, we got the daughter of Ford royalty, Tabitha Ambrose, out there with running in the Moffat Tribute XC Falcon Coupe.
It really does. It's a picture, isn't it, this field? I didn't know that E30 was a genuine Schnitzer car. There's got to be about 5 minutes in this program where I can go down and have a couple of looks at these things. I keep telling everyone else to go down there and have a look at them. But, that car, I do like the fact that it is in the right script, but it does say Hangover Motorsport on the window.
So I found out, I only just found out that it was a genuine Schnitzer car from, I suppose, the oracle of M3s here, Bill Cutler, earlier, and he was saying that it's the sister car or a sister car to his, and this raced in the period in the normal white livery, and then later on it raced, I think, in Macau, I think he said, or in an Asian country, and where it was painted red at some point as a hill climb car. So Bill sort of knew the history of it, sort of gave me a brief rundown. But all in all, it's pretty cool to have a M3, genuine one out there running around with these guys.
Absolutely. When they hit those big revs and they're coming at you, the induction noise, it doesn't really sound anything special going away, but coming at you, it is absolutely like you're going to get sucked down through the grill.
Exactly.
The way they breathe. These cars come around onto the straight here. It does look like we're doing a rolling start, but it's not a start of a race as such, although it does have a very distinct feel to it. But certainly this is what is a super sprint, and it's kind of what you would get at the real grassroots of motorsport at a club level event at any circuit around the country, and that this particular venue, Sandown, Phillip Island and Winton, which all the VHRR events visit. Certainly every other day of the week they've got cars going against the clock, and that's what we're seeing here with this super sprint as well. So we'll see some of the cars that fancy themselves as being fast, trying to push the envelope out in front and get a bit of clear track.
Oh, absolutely. And today with dry weather and they're all on slicks, it'll be interesting. The giant killers of yesterday in the wet will fall slowly back, and those guys are a bit upset about that because they were having a good run. But now I've got to make mention that this XA Coupe I did get wrong yesterday. It is in the 73 livery, not the 74 livery, I was reminded of, so I knew I got it wrong.
There is that aspect of this sort of competition which just absolutely bamboozles me, because as soon as you walk downstairs there's someone waiting and wants to poke a hole in your chest and go, no, it was 74, not 73.
Oh, I got messages. So, but yeah, Dave Ramsey's doing an awesome job in that car.
Yeah. A lot of Vic V8's work too. He's like that's the thing. You can use it at these sort of events, and then as long as you build it to a rule set like the Vic V8s, which are quite open. Yeah. And you can get double the use out of your race car.
Yeah, and look, Phil Jones, who's out the front at the moment in the the Geisler VH. Phil's inquired about running in Vic V8s as well. You know, so some of these guys are, you know, looking at different, you know, classes to run in. The Pinnacle car here, Craig runs at Winton in their Tin Top series, you know, so, you know, it's great to see the guys sort of, you know, multi-tasking.
This is the genuine article,
yeah,
this
it is.
40, isn't it, the Walkinshaw?
Yeah, Adrian's very quick in the Heritage Touring Car class. And, you know, he loves the thing. He would, like he said to me the other day, you know, he'd drive every weekend if he could. So, you know, and good on him. Like, he's out here having some fun. You don't have to be at a race meeting not to have some fun.
Just noticed the names of the original drivers on the back of that Pinnacle replica there, Cleland and Scott. So what a combination in a very underfunded outfit.
Absolutely. And to Craig's credit, he contacted Cleland and said to him, you know, have you got any photos? And he went through Gary Scott for photos and, you know, that sort of stuff. Like, he's really gone all out and contacted them and sent them, you know, the results. And so it's great.
Certainly is. There's that M3 we were just touching on, which is a genuine article as well. Here's some cars that you put on a screen or anywhere in the automotive world in Australia, and you get that 05 feeling, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, and there's a few Brock replicas out there, which is good. Now, this car here, Adam Jones, yesterday he was flying in the wet.
Wasn't he?
Yeah.
Absolutely the right piece of kit at the right time on the wet track. And it's interesting, the backstory of that 240k Datsun at Bathurst was that it came along that year. It was a different kind of year, and they did very, very well. It was found, you know, doing a bit of giant slaying work in that particular era, so I can see why the motivation would be to have this sort of thing out on track.
And Adam's got, so he said that this is in a 74 Bathurst car. He's recently purchased a Datsun 1000, I think it was, or 1200, that raced at Bathurst as well, and he's looking at doing the resto on that shortly. So he loves his Datsuns, obviously.
Yep, and there goes the John English Pi Audio Falcon as well. So lots of cars that synonymous. We've got to touch on Ian Ross's car there as well, the Mike Emery Graham Treasure Falcon of the era, and it's run in its true livery. It was really privateer, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, Ian drives the wheels off it, you know, and it's a very original car. You know, looking at it, it hasn't been modified or anything. It's still very much what it should be.
I like the way Ian dresses appropriately too as well. Back in the era when all the, you know, the Brocs and all that had the disco type driving suit.
Yeah, exactly.
Ian wrestles himself like a wetsuit into his driving suit and lives the dream, doesn't he?
Oh, absolutely. And if anyone's here, he's got a genuine 427 Cobra sitting in the back of the pits as part of our Ford display, which is great. You know, that's Ian's car out the back, and he's also drives his Mustang here as well. So he's a genuine Ford lover.
Deep badged Fords on the front there as well. So notice that as well in the era.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, Mike Emery, like his workshop was no more than about 5 or 6 kilometres here from Sandown. So it's found its, back to its roots coming to Sandown, and you're just watching Ian going right up on the Ripple Strip there as well. So he's not leaving anything on the table and giving it a red hot go. Currently, Ian is sitting in 8th with a lap time of a 1:31. Fastest car on track is the 53 of Phil Jones, the black and yellow VH Commodore, I think it is. Yeah, and it's a 1:20.9. He's a good half a second ahead of Adrian Elsley in that the VL Walkinshaw.
And I'm sure that Adrian will get down to Phil's times in, shortly. He'll be there. But like Ian was saying yesterday, that his car's very quick, but it's still got the brakes of 1980 on it, and that's where that's what hurts it.
Yeah, and look, it's an evolution. I think they had the luxury of having 4-pot calipers on them, and when you look at touring cars in a modern era, then you have the 4 pots on the back. And,
that's right.
And that's that's like anything. It's the evolution of cars. We never used to wear seatbelts, and we do that now, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. So you look at that XA or XB Coupe, XD Falcon. two very iconic looking cars.
Then these guys definitely aren't racing each other at
that's
the
right.
moment. They're just doing a super sprint against the clock. So I would suggest that Ian's just using the tow that the big XB has behind it.
Yeah, exactly. And it'd be a fair tow too.
It would be. Yep.
You know, Ian's car still runs. I think it's a top loader with 351 9-inch, and I know that XB Coupe's got a 408 Windsor, but it's still top loader 9-inch. So just the luxury of a bit more modern stuff. And and then you look at this XC Falcon Coupe of Tribute of Moffat. How good's that?
Tabitha Ambrose at the wheel there, car number 25, and her best time at the moment is a 1:34.7. Fairway down the road from where Jones is at the moment. Phil Jones in the 83 VH. Here he is now, actually right in behind Tabitha, and they're just getting easing on by the Escort. And that reminder of the Escort there, of course, Gary Rogers drove an Escort in sports sedans very, very well, and the passing of an absolute legend and a genuinely nice bloke a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Sad news for not only the Rogers family, but Australian motorsport. There's so many things that Gary did that we're just not aware of, and drivers, and when some of the tributes came out, and some of the drivers that I guess eulogised over what he had done for them was really eye-opening.
And you're right, the level of drivers that he's brought through in this country, to give them their first start as well, is amazing. Look at the top levels of supercars these days, and Gary's had a hand in quite a few of those drivers. And
of course he drove a VL Walkinshaw as well, which Les Small prepared for him in about 88, 89, 90 back in the Group A era. It was a horrendous white and day glow orange, and it was mostly day glow orange, and it wasn't a great looking car.
No, I don't think it was overly quick either.
No, I don't think it was. I was just about to say I helped with the preparation of that car, but I'll withdraw that. I'll withdraw that comment as well. It was a tough gig. But certainly sad, the passing of Gary Rogers, and leaves a big hole in. I would suggest the team down at GRM are pulling together pretty hard now to keep that business running as a rightful tribute to the great man. Yeah,
exactly. So, and Adrian's getting closer to Phil Jones now in the times.
Yes, he is, and there's quite a generation. I mean, the Jones car is a Group C replica, and obviously a real Group A. Huff is the next one on the timesheets there as well. That's Matt Huff, another Commodore from 1984, red, white, and blue in the Brock. There it is, there I think.
Yeah, you're right. And the interesting thing that you sort of look at with the Adrian's Walkinshaw, that's still 308 dual throttle body, Hollinger 5-speed type engine, a combination, where Phil's is a later model LS with a Hollinger 5-speed, and the times are pretty close.
Matt Huff not Matt Huff. That's Pete Mason. I was just looking at in the Escort, and doing a nice job at the moment. Just getting a little bit outclassed horsepower-wise, and I guess Sandown's probably the worst place to display a car that doesn't quite have. But it's a under 2 litre car, and at the moment doing a 137, and the fastest of the under 2 litre cars out there.
And this mobile car here, interestingly, if you look at the colour scheme, it's actually the Donington Park UK colour scheme. And Max McKay, who owns it, chose a totally different Brock livery.
Certainly was, yeah. That was when they took it to the world, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
The touring cars. And Adrian now looking very, very racy indeed, coming up to only 3 minutes left in this super sprint session, as the Adam Jones and the Datsun 240K just drops in behind, trying to get a bit of a tow for a couple of 100 metres. Under brakes.
He's got all over Max on that.
The Mobile livery, red, white and blue, and the Datsun livery, red, white and blue there as well, matching colours. Let's see as car number 4. Oh, spinner.
Yeah, that's Travis Kirby in the Citizen Watches car. Now, as much as Travis has spun there, that used to be a Commodore Cup car, and he's just refurbed it into something that he can use.
And I'll tell you what, the Commodore Cup cars, even though they only ran the 4.2 253, they were
very
an
fast.
Amazing category. And you look at some of the names that were through there: Holdsworth, Zakanovic,
exactly.
Jeff Emery, three times GT champion, now 3 times Commodore Cup champion. Some of those names that came through Commodore Cup. Shame that the demise of that particular category, because it was, in Australia, obviously we like our touring cars, and it was a massive breeding ground for up-and-coming touring car races, and provided really door-handle to door-handle fearsome racing.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, it's a little bit like one of the categories for Winton Festival Speed that we want to see if we can introduce moving forward is the old V8 Brute Utes, and also the very early production cars from the Bathurst 12-hour and 24-hour. We're looking at those categories of about starting to grow those at the Festival Speed as the introduction to our other VHRR events. So if anyone's got one of those cars, please keep an eye out.
Yeah, certainly the Winton Festival Speed has been a hotbed of innovation as far as... it sounds funny saying historic racing, innovating in historic racing, but like anything, you stand still, you drown, don't you?
Yeah, that's right, you get left behind.
Got to keep innovating, and the eras march on too as well, and that's people come to see the eras that they remember.
Yes.
And you and I, we remember Group A, Group C, and certainly enjoy that part of it very much indeed.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's our current leader, the Transalloy number 53 of Jones, with only 40 seconds left in this session.
I don't know whether Transalloy is still running, but I tell you what, they're getting some
aren't they ever?
some great sponsorship coverage.
Yeah, aren't they ever? The Moffat Ford dealers as well. I think
exactly.
That's gone by the wayside as well. But that's what it is. It's tribute liveries, and there was a time in motorsport where you were only allowed to have your name on the side of the car.
Yeah, exactly, and that's where our Group N is. So yeah, it's great to see. They'll get one more lap in now with Phil. So he's very quick. He's doing a 122. Adrian's doing a 122, which is great. And then you've sort of Matt Huff doing a 127. Dave Ramsey in the XA Coupe, he's doing a 127. Ian Smith a 127. So they're pretty consistent lap times, that's for sure. Ian Ross, he's done a 127. So, all of them are very consistent. Just these two cars are a bit faster than the others.
Roger Trezise in the XB GT in 7th place there at the moment, 128.26. Checkered flag has dropped. So as the cars come across the line, that will be their last time lap. Adrian Brady has just gone to the line. Adrian sitting down on 13th with a 134. So the BMW, the normally aspirated car, again, as it did back in the day, they suffered on the long straights here
absolutely,
at Sandown. But fantastic to see these cars making their way out onto track and giving, I'm sure there's more than just you and I around the property and watching on the live stream, having a bit of a reminisce.
Well, that's right. And, and I've got to give it credit to people like Taz Maurice, who's running out here. He's one of our sponsors with his Auto House vehicle storage business, and same as Graham Stevenson with his business, that's at NPavit business. Like those guys, not only are they out here having some fun, but they also come on board as VHRR sponsors along with all our other sponsors. So, we've got to thank them all.
Absolutely, we do. And we don't get to go racing without them. It's kind of like our volunteer officials. We all link in a chain, don't we? They're all responsible to keep the sport going.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And with VHR, we're very privileged that we've got some fantastic sponsors. This weekend being Equity One, and obviously Penrite and Shannon's and Cool Drive.
Certainly great to have all of those businesses on board, and one of the things we need to put out there as well is that if you are looking to do something in any of the realms that these businesses exist at, go and have a chat to them, and don't just have a chat. Give them your business, because that's what they're here for. They're here to try and grow their business within a community, and I guess we owe it to each other to reward each other, or to help each other out in that respect.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is how it looks. It's Jones with a 119.68, and that's definitely a lot faster than yesterday in the wet. Owsley, they're a 121. Huff a 124. Ramsey in the big yellow Falcon a 125. Ian Ross a 126. 127 for Ian Ross. Chazai's a 28. Kirby 128.8. Stevenson a 129, a 130. Back to Barkler, and so on as the cars continue on back into the paddock area. Brett, thank you very much for your time during Group C and A Tribute Super Sprint number 2 for the weekend. Yesterday, it was Phil Jones who was fastest, but boy, look at that lap time. A 134.76 to a 119 in the dry.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Good stuff. Thank you, Brett.
No worries, thank you. And I'll be back later on.
Welcome back to the Historic Sandown, 33rd running of the Victorian Historic Racing Registers Historic Sandown. I ask you how many events of any type other than probably the Melbourne Cup and Bathurst and even Island Magic get 33 years in a row of running one event. A testament to the club and the people that operate in the background, and that's across all 3 events of the circuit racing stuff that the Victorian Historic Racing Register do. A big shout out to Equity One, Shannon's, Penrite and Cool Drive for those big corporate sponsors that help keep this going, and often they're doing it for the absolute love of it to make sure that this form of motorsport continues on. And what we're looking at on track here now is a continuation of that theory, and this is the Group C and A Tribute Super Sprint. And being joined by Brett Florence, and it really is about the continuation of motorsport, isn't it, mate? These cars are in their original form. I'm not going to say are priceless, but they're expensive.
More.
Yeah, they give us those silhouettes, and it has been very interesting with the Ford Coupes, because they are some of the real valuable ones.
Absolutely.
And we're seeing a few of them out there on track, and that really does give us a really cool, hark back to yesteryear. And just having a look at that coupe there of David Ramsey. We'll just correct your mistake from yesterday. It's a 73 car, not a 74 car.
Yeah, it's in the 73 livery. I got, like I said, got quite a few messages to say that I was incorrect, but I called it. I said I was going to be wrong. But no, it's a pretty cool machine, that. So in this category, there's still three, maybe 4 other coupes that are out there that aren't racing here this weekend with guys. So you'll see more Falcon coupes in this category than what you will actually out on the track with the Heritage Touring Car guys.
Big shout out to Nick Higgins. We know he's watching at home, recovering with a sore leg. He's got a sore leg, poor old Nico. He joined us in the commentary booth for the Winton Festival of Speed. And ran last year actually at the Winton Festival Speed in the little Toyota Corolla, which is a tribute car of the Toyota Works era in Group A.
And you're right, and this should be a pretty good match. We got the Walkinshaw of Adrian Elsley, which is a genuine car. It's still 308, dual throttle body, 5-speed, and as it should be. And you've got Phil Jones in the LS1 powered, or LS3 powered, sorry, VH. So let's see who wins and who gets a better times. I'm backing Adrian in, actually, personally.
I think we probably need to put to one side who wins, because this is a super sprint, but I do like the way they punch them all up to head off on the super sprint all at one time there with the green flag. But it's the same protagonists that we've seen earlier on today that are heading off out in front. And certainly that Walkinshaw car, when that first came out with that wild bonnet scoop and that massive rear deck wing and the side skirts, it was an absolute freak, wasn't it? Everyone was like, yeah. Wow, they have gone absolutely berserk on the aero with that thing.
Yeah, exactly. And it was interesting talking to Adrian yesterday. He didn't run yesterday due to tyre issue, but he was saying that how the aero on this works so much better than a VN, and they got the aero on the Walkinshaw right and the VN not so right. It was far more twitchy, the VN, so it was just interesting having a chat to him about the cars. And then you look at this XD, the plain wrapper, really, of Mike Emery's, and Ian Ross loves this thing. He just drives it and he likes it because it's just plain and simple, just like Mike ran it in the day.
Certainly got the suspension settings to run the bumps here at Sandown, just riding those undulations here at Sandown.
Well, that's right, because it was a taxi, as Ian said.
That's right, it was too. Yeah. There's some of those stories, isn't it? Gary Wilmington in the day, I remember in the early supercars era, they said, oh yeah, we got 2 cars and we did a cut and shut. And it was sort of like, well, lucky it's a race car and you don't have to have those chassis numbers registered anymore. But there's a lot of those sorts of stories where cars were birthed out of these days. We see a lot of the stat write-offs from floods and things like that, don't we? Oh,
absolutely. And as you said, the protagonists here. So this will be a good match, actually. And it just shows you, modern drivetrain versus traditional drivetrain, and speed-wise, they're pretty similar.
So this car we're looking at here, it does look absolutely genuine in the way it's been prepared, and that is a testament to the people that have built it. And he's actually getting quite involved, having a good look in the mirror too to see where they go. In a super sprint, you're not looking in the mirrors, you're looking ahead.
No, that's right. So, and Adrian's no slouch, that's for sure. No. I think he came second in last year's Heritage Touring Car Championship out of their 5 rounds, so he did pretty well up against the M3s and the Sierras that he runs in. So, it's pretty cool. But, and all the other guys are falling well behind.
They certainly are. So, a 1:19.20, that's a pretty good lap time in any sort of racing here in these sorts of vehicles. But I reckon we're about to see that start to drop down too as this session continues on.
Yeah, exactly. And like you saw the Citizen Watches VC Commodore there, that started life as a old Commodore Cup car. So, like Travis Kerber, who runs that car, picked out a livery he liked. And, when you look at it, it's compare that car, it's a small wing early Commodore type car, versus Phil's, which is the later big wing car. Both just different liveries, different time frame, but a pretty good way of getting a defunct car from a category that's no longer, give it a rebirth into a new lifestyle.
Absolutely, yeah. You weren't allowed to have those big arches on the Commodore Cup car like they do there, and that really is what sets the Group C era apart, isn't it? The big bolt-on guards that you could run. Just looking back, Phil Jones earlier today, a 1:19.68. He's done a 1:18.64, so 1.1 seconds faster in the first 4 laps of this session in the Super Sprint. Just looking at the Equity One timing board there, 7 minutes and 44 seconds left to go. So a good handful of laps still to improve on that.
Yeah, exactly. And, we've, like we said earlier, we've got Tabitha Ambrose out there in the Federation Moffat inspired coupe. And then, its owner, you got Graham Stevenson. He's in the John English XD. So, and apparently in the earlier session, Graham sort of cut off Tabitha a little bit and nearly took out his own car, which would have been an interesting conversation.
Certainly would. Just looking at Tabitha's time from earlier today, a 1:32.59, 1:32.59 there by Tabitha. And just looking where she is in the mix now, there she is, a 1:40.33 as Adrian just goes through on the Falcon there, and he is chasing. He's bettered his time from earlier on today. Did a 1:21.21. He's done a 1:19.2, so that's 2 seconds faster than what he was earlier on today. There's Tabitha in the Camel Federation entry as she gets through turn number 1, and this car looks as though it is the pride and joy in the garage, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and. Graham, who owns this car, him and a couple of other guys, Graham was telling me earlier, they actually tried to buy the original car, and Alan Moffat wouldn't sell it to them when it was at the Ford Wreckers in West Heidelberg. And then, he always wanted that car, and hence why he's built this one. So, good luck, good on him. And his mechanic was one of the guys trying to buy it with him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so...
Okay. obviously a keepsake that has now found a nice worthy place in Graham's shed. And good to see Tabitha, who is just grabbing every drive that is coming at her. She drove that 4-door A9X at the Winton Festival of Speed in August, and what a race meeting. That was ripping race meeting for her profile, because record crowds, record viewing on the live stream. And when you're a young driver trying to make your way in motorsport, they're the sort of events you want to have your name at, so you get seen by a lot of faces.
Well, that's right, and she just did a fabulous interview actually pre this event, and with Sandra Horn, social media fame, and and it's a great insight into where Tabitha is and what Tabitha wants to do. And from our club point of view, she's a great ambassador for us as a junior, so that's why we support her.
The 57 BMW E30 M3 Adrian Brady, a 134.09 in earlier trim. Let's have a look where Adrian Brady is now currently 10th on the track. A 133.68 is his fastest time, so he's gone 3.4 of a second faster in these conditions. Is that me, or is that just looking a little bit hazy up the back straight now?
It? Hopefully the rain's not coming back.
Well, you might get our stats people in the background to have a bit of a look at that for us and see what's happening. I'd love to have one of these cars. In fact, hands down, any of these cars on track now, this is a bit of me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Look, I've got a Commodore, but yeah, M3. If I had my choice, other than the Commodore, it'd be an M3 like this. E30 M3, how cool.
Yeah, very much so. And head off to Germany and do some hill climb championships or something with it. Rev it up to 11,000 and give it a red hot go. And great to see it out there. And I tell you what, it went right up in my estimations when you alerted me to the fact that it was a Schnitzer genuine article too.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't realise that until Bill Cutler, who's a regular in Heritage Touring Cars, and Bill races all around the world in his M3 Schnitzer car, and he's one of our club members, and Bill was telling me all about this one, and he said, it was one of the sister Schnitzer cars, so it's pretty cool, that's for sure. And it looks, when you go down and actually have a look at it, it's pretty neat.
I wonder if Ian Mabry or any of those guys that were running around in the background behind Brockman, he put 05 on a BMW for a couple of seasons there as well, and Ian Mabry was one of those privateers like we were just talking about as well. He did it quite well for a fair while, and the other one, actually another one of the great race drivers of Victoria I've seen floating around today, Laurie Nelson.
Yes, Laurie's here.
Floating around here. Great to see him at the racetrack. One of those evergreen privateers, then a real born and bred privateer in the Capri components, Capri, and then later on in the fox-bodied Mustangs.
That's
and
right.
Stuff like that.
And that fox-bodied Mustang's still a regular in Heritage Touring Cars.
I think some of the Capris are too.
Yeah.
I think they've been floating around. But certainly these cars now, so wipers are on. Oh, Adrian Olsley. That is not what you want coming out of the back of your 5-litre Holden.
No, it's not.
That is not tyres rubbing either. Oh, no. And as I just said, the wipers are on. That's not good. The car filling up with smoke too.
Yeah, and I know his engine builder, so he won't be happy either. He's currently in America with, probably watching at the moment, actually. He's been over in SEMA, his engine builder, so, he won't be overly impressed.
No, that doesn't look good.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. I also know the guy that supplies the engine parts to the engine builder, so he won't be happy either.
Oh, well, there's a bit of a sale coming up by the looks of things. So you know him well.
Yeah.
And here's Tabitha again. She's still sitting there in 11th. A 136.87 is her best in this session. It was a 132, so I'm going to suggest that, yes, with seeing these cars now in their replay, just seeing the interesting here is the fastest car on track has got its windscreen wipers on.
Yeah, exactly.
That is telling us, and Emma's just shown us the radar, and there's certainly some smatterings of showers around on the track. Checkered flag has now dropped on this category, and I would suggest that's probably to buy a little bit of time to recover that VL parked down there. just getting a look there at the Morris Falcon. Bob Morris, of course, was synonymous across both Holden and Ford products in the Group C era.
And Taz, who owns that car, Taz has always been a regular at these events. Taz is one of the very original guys back, 10 years ago who built this car and has always, played in regularity before it moved into this. And Taz, with his sons, with their Auto Haas vehicle storage in Moorabbin, they're one of our sponsors for this category, and they're on board for Winton as well, and they do a great job for us. So along with all our sponsors, which is fantastic. It
is a great. They're doing a good job in business too for their customers as well. A very secure facility there at Auto House in Moorabbin, and strongly urge anyone, if you're looking to store cars that are precious and mean something to you, that is the place to do it if you need that sort of service. Don't like the fact that we're seeing the deteriorating surface flag out. I hope that just means rain and not oil. It is colloquially known as the oil flag.
Yes.
And we did see a lot of smoke coming out of the VL down there. Great to see these competitors acknowledging the trackside marshals, recovery crews and flaggies, etc. as they come around.
And if you look at that, it looks like Moffat in the Moffat car, Roger. So he's having a reminisce.
He is, absolutely. Absolutely. So where can we find out more about Group C and Group A tribute cars?
Look, there's a Facebook page that's a couple of them, but as a result of this weekend, myself and a few of the other guys within VHRR, we're starting to look at sort of creating, a set of rules, if you like, just sort of guidelines really, more so than rules, just around construction and safety and stuff like that. But essentially, if anyone wants to build a car, look at the CAMS documents in relation to the, what the original cars were in spec, and roughly, if you can do that, that's fantastic. We don't want the cars to be super duper hot rods. Try and keep them in spec, keep them within what would have been period, and as long as they look and smell and go the same, that's what we hope for.
Fantastic. Yes, there's definitely a bit of oil down there, and the officials shaking their head as well. And just notice Brett Ramsey from In Pit Lane TV show wandering down the straight there as well. I hope he's not unchecked out there, just with his camera gear wandering back over to turn number 1. But Brett, thank you so much, and thanks to all of the drivers, teams, crews, etc. around the Group C, Group A tribute cars. That, as I mentioned earlier, it is nice to have a bit of a teary-eyed reminisce about some of these touring cars.
Yeah, it is, mate. It sure is, and hopefully I'll be out there with these guys at some point in a VK Commodore.
That's the aim.
Yes.
It is absolutely the aim. Well done, and to the engine guy and parts supplier for the VL, commiserations out there as well.
Yeah, I'll give him a call.
Brett! Thanks, Brett. We'll be back with more. We've still got 3 more races to go here as part of the 33rd running of Historic Sandown with the Victorian Historic Racing Register. If you're at the track, I really hope you've had a fantastic day. If you've been watching on the live stream, I hope you've enjoyed what we've put out on the broadcast as well. Still a couple of terrific races to go. The MG and Invited British cars are going to be on track next. We'll take a quick break while they clean up that VL Commodore down at the run down into turn 2. Back in a moment.